Well, here I am in CodePen trying to get the homework for week 4 done. And in that homework, I need to create a web page that has 3 divs. And the first div is supposed to have a heading and 2 paragraphs in it, and the other two are supposed to have 3 images each. And then there's some styling that I'll need to do. You can see what I've done so far. I've got my heading tag and a couple of paragraphs. I'm making a web page about street art here. So I found some pictures. I've got 6 images. They're really large, out of hand, so we'll have to do some styling on these as well. So I've got the content basically that I need. The reason we're using divs here is because they're a handy way to work on layout, how you want your web design to look. So it's a place you might put content and then style the divs to have a little bit more flexibility in how you present things. So here's a div. We need to make 3 of those, and I think I'm going to add an ID because I know we need to make each of them have a different background color. So I'll just call this div1. You could make any name you want for an ID name. Doesn't really matter. And we'll just copy and paste these, the other two. Oops. So we'll call this one div2 and this one div3. When you use IDs, you want every one of them to be different. That's the point of an ID, to have a unique name. All right, so in this first div, I am supposed to put this text, the heading and the 2 paragraphs. So let me grab that and put it in here. Okay, and in the second div, I'm supposed to put 3 pictures. So let's grab those. And in the third div, the other 3 pictures. So let's grab those. Okay, so now I've got all my content inside my 3 divs, and you can see it didn't really change anything. Until you start styling divs, they're basically invisible. You wouldn't even know that they were there. They don't even have any particular size. They just expand to be the size of the stuff that fills them up, unless you specify otherwise. So let's start styling. I think the first thing I'm going to do is deal with these photographs. They're just way too big. And since these are the only images I'm going to use in this page, I'm just going to head and style the image tag. And I think we'll restrict the width to 300 pixels. See how that looks. And also let's give them a border, and we'll do solid and 3 pixels. And let's do dark gray. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now let's start playing around with styling our divs. First of all, I don't like how long this paragraph stretches out, so I think I'm actually going to restrict the width of the divs. These pictures are about 300 pixels wide. I think I'm going to make the divs 1,000 pixels, so I've got some leftover breathing room. So let's just do that. I'm going to style just all the div tags, and we'll do a width of 1,000 pixels. You can see immediately that kind of cut it off here. We continue on there. I think I also want a little bit of space between my divs so that the text is a little spaced out from the photographs and a little spaced out from the next pictures below. So I can use the margin property to get space around the outside of an object. So let's put in pretty big margin here, 50 pixels, and see how that looks. You can see it made some space on the side here, and made some space in between my 3 divs. Now I'm supposed to have all 3 divs with a different background color. So to do that, I need to refer to the ID. My first ID is div1, and to make a CSS rule for an ID, you start with the hashtag, and then the name of the ID, and then the open and close curly brackets. And let's do a background color of, let's see, let's try coral. Yeah, that's nice. And then I'm going to copy and paste this and just change it slightly for div2 and div3. For div2, we'll have a background color of maybe light blue. And for div3, we'll have a background color of light green. I think it's good to use light colors when you've got text so people can still see the words. Let's take a look now. All right, I'm liking this better already. I've got some color going on my web page. One of the things I don't like is that the text is right up against the edge of the color there, and that looks crowded to me. So what I want is some space on the inside of an element. You do that with something called padding, the attribute called padding. So I'm going to go up to my div tag because I want to add this padding to all the divs and put in padding of, oh, I don't know, 20 pixels. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah. So got some nice space now. That's looking great. And at this point, really, we're done with the homework. We could have passed it and turned this in before we added the padding, and it would pass. But let's do some more while we're at it. I think the other thing that I dislike about this is that there's more white space because of the size of my particular window on the right than on the left. I'd like these divs to kind of be in the middle. So I think what I'm going to do is add a couple other margin commands to this CSS styling rule. There's this margin where you can, let's do left and set it to auto, and then do margin right and set it to auto. When you do that, it spaces itself evenly from the left and the right. Aha. So now we've got 3 divs that kind of float in the middle. No matter how big my page is, they're going to stay centered on the page. And I've got my text here and my photographs here. I'm liking the way this looks. So that is a little bit of work with the week 4 homework. I wish you luck with it.